voice17104.com. This is Zanetta Wingfield, and you're listening to The Voice 17104.com. The Voice 17104.com.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back here to Rick's Place on The Voice 17104. Here with Pastor Chris Thomas.
Welcome back, sir, man. Welcome back.
You know the man, and the good people joining us here today. You know this is a political session. This is what we talk about here at Rick's Place. Current events that affect me, you, everybody else. Be it good, bad, or indifferent. We're going to discuss it. Nikki Haley, back in the news. Nikki Haley is a chameleon. Whatever atmosphere she's in, that's what she changes to. Just like the chameleon. There's a chameleon in the forest. If he's around a bunch of greenery, he'll turn green. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to believe me. You go on the Animal Channel. They'll show you. If it's around dirt and anything brown, they can make it a turn brown. Camouflage, see? That's how it protects itself. Well, there's Nikki. Donald Trump ain't this and Donald Trump. Remember when she was in the president? And Donald Trump done attacked her. Now, mind you, she was his UN ambassador. That's right, ambassador to the United Nations. Appointed by Donald Trump to represent his administration at the United Nations with the rest of the world's countries. Okay, the views of America. She was spouting them. Now she wanted to be the president. Well, she ran in the primary, and it was Donald Trump this and Donald Trump that, but she was very careful how she attacked him, if she attacked him at all. She was always very careful to walk right up to the line, but never cross it. Now, Donald Trump running around, and she's Rhino and the leader of the Rhinos. Republicans on the outside, all of that. And he said some pretty vicious things about her and her family. Her husband being a United States soldier. He talked bad about him. Well, the primaries ran its course, and she realized she was not going to have enough votes to become the nominee. So she got out of the race. Which Trump was very happy at that time. Then other primaries start taking place. And she's getting 21% of the vote. Now, she's no longer a candidate. She's no longer in the race. But she's getting 21% here, 20% there, in that state. And these various states, 14%, 15%, 17%. On the scale of things, it's a lot of votes. She got over 100,000 right here in Pennsylvania. think that didn't catch the Trump administration's attention. What I'm saying, folks, is he can't win without her. And she knows that. She's sitting back grinning. That's why the Biden administration was trying to court those votes. Because they weren't voting for Trump. Nikki's out of the race. It behooved Biden to court those votes, even though they're Republican. This made sense. Well, now Nikki jumps out. We ain't heard from Nikki since last year. Sometime last year. Yeah. Oh, then she jumps out and says, I'm voting for Donald Trump. Wow. Really? When she said that, she was endorsing him. You don't have to come right out and say, oh, I endorse Donald Trump. No, she didn't have to say that. She's in a better position to have to say that. Folks, what Nikki Haley is angling for is to become the vice president. Or something better. I don't know what's much better than that. But that's what she's angling for. Believe me, her and her team sat down and looked at the numbers. Now, you can say what you want to say about them. They silly, they stupid, they ain't dumb. Is that down there? Look, you can't win without you. Now, what we gonna get for this? That's how politics works. That's how it's done. Mr. Monarch, wannabe, Mr. Strongman. Mr. Strongman is in a precarious position. He's on trial in New York. He got other trials coming up. He's weak. He's very weak. And he needs all the help he can get if he wants to win this White House again, which I think will be a disaster, but this is how they're thinking. So he's gonna need he needs her. And she would not have jumped out there and said she gonna vote for Trump for nothing. You can believe that. And that's a fact. Nikki the Chameleon. One way she's this, another way she's that. And this wasn't done for you and I. No, it wasn't done for me. I'm a Democrat. And it wasn't done for you, Mr. and Mrs. Republican. This was done for Nikki. Nikki Haley only. They had a commentator on CNN the other night that supported her. And she was all just been out of shape. She said, I can't believe they did that. I don't want no Trump in there. Because it wasn't about you, honey. No. This is about good old Nikki. Yeah. What about you? And nobody looked like you. Your cousin, your uncle, your aunt, your grandma? No. What about you? It's about her. I remember watching a segment with Brother Roland Martin. That, he had Roland got a heck of a show. You know what I mean? Roland go after them all. You don't care. God bless him. But he did one on Nikki Haley. I called her a chameleon, but that's what she is. But he came pretty close to calling her that. Because he saw right through her. And he had some guests on there. Brother and a couple sisters. And they saw right through her too. They went as far as calling her a racist. Well, maybe they know her a little better than I. But I know one thing, she's a politician. Chief, what they call a chief politician. That means they learn as many of the ropes as they can. What appeals and what doesn't appeal. And she plays it in a race card. I was done with it when she get. That's a very simple question they asked her. I don't know how basic it could have got. What was the cause of the Civil War? No, it was a states' rights and the states being able to do. I said, this is what that girl say. Anyone that know anything about America's history, it could have been a child in the southern part of Italy, in Sicily, in a classroom. They were studying world culture. And they went over various things. When they got to the United States, they cover slavery. Everybody cover that. They cover slavery in the classrooms in Germany. And that little child would have told you the cause of the Civil War was slavery. Nikki Haley didn't even know that. She tried to make it about something else. But this is what they do, folks. Try to change history. I remember Chris Christie being interviewed right after that. And it was hard for him to keep a straight face. But that's when he was kind of done with Nikki Haley. He said, folks, everybody knows the cause of the Civil War was slavery. The South did not want to give up its economical base. And that's what it was. Slaves were the ones that kept their economical system running. They're the ones that planted the cotton, they're the ones that planted the tobacco, the wheat, the corn. They're the ones that nurtured it. And when it comes to harvest, they're the ones that harvest it. So their masters could take it to market. And this is how they did. Wow. We were in bondage. But she couldn't answer that. She made it about some foolishness to keep from saying that. But always want to say she's a minority. No, I'm a minority. I was an Indian. You was or you are? No, I'm Indian descent. Oh, yeah. You ain't trying to identify with that part of you. Yeah. But so much for the humor, folks. Let's look at this thing for what it is, for how serious it is. This is all about power. This is all about power and control. He wants all power and all control. But he know he can't obtain that with the numbers he got now. He knows under the pressure he's in right now. He know he can't win and can't even come possibly close to winning without her. And she knows that too. You say what he wanted to say about her being a rhino and she's the leader of the rhinos and okay. And still that's no guarantee. People voted for her, they didn't vote for you. Now she says she's voting for you, it's in fact endorsing you. People say, I don't care who she voting for. I'm not voting for her. I vote for you. Now you decide to jump all over there with him and kiss the ring that she claimed she wasn't kissing no rings while she was campaigning against him and wanted to be president. I ain't kissing no rings. Well, I watched you the other night on television. You kissed the ring. But I also know how slick you are. Ain't that dumb about this girl. Not at all. This woman ain't stupid at all. She didn't jump out there for nothing. And you can believe that, folks. You can take that to the bank. That check's good. All day long. She did not say what she said last night on national television about voting for Trump for nothing. Mark my words. Got the Republican National Convention coming up. Who they nominate their candidate who won the primary to be president of the United States. In fact, both of them are coming up, the Republican and Democrat. Mm-hmm. Keep in mind, watch what happens. Nikki will be somewhere in this administration. Okay? And it ain't gonna be no charge of the water fountains. No, she's going to have a key position. If it's not vice president, she will have back Secretary of State. It's another powerful position. Chief of Staff, even though you got to work as Chief of Staff, this girl don't look like she's going to do too much working. You know. And I don't think this woman's going to do that. No. Yeah. But, mark my words, she did not endorse Donald Trump for nothing. I don't want Donald Trump to be the dog catcher, let alone the president again. He will be disastrous because it's all about him being a dictator, him being in total control, him being a massa. That's what he want to be. No. No, and if she got to go down with him, then she goes down with him. We don't care. You made that choice. You see, Mike Pence came right out. Now, this man was his vice president. And Mike Pence told the world, in all good conscience, I cannot endorse Donald Trump for president. Now, this man was the vice president. And if I was Mike Pence, I wouldn't endorse him either. Any man that stood up there and tried to have me killed, are you crazy? I'm going to jump up and endorse you? That's not going to happen. So mark my words, folks. Keep your eye on Nikki Haley. Always keep your eye on Donald. He's a sneaky guy. Donald got so desperate the other day, he said, the President Biden tried to have him killed. He gets more sillier and sillier every day. The FBI, he said the FBI had orders from Biden to get him. Are you crazy? FBI wouldn't have carried out nothing like that anyway, you simp. When they raided Mar-a-Lago, they thought he was. They knew exactly where you were, Donald. You got a Secret Service detail, you simp. They know where you are at all times. Do you think you got to be the easiest guy to find in the world? And the FBI don't do that. That's not their role. Well, we got another organization now that, had you mentioned them, you might have had a point, but they ain't even trying to kill you. You'd be dead. That's the CIA. You'd be gone. And they don't just get, they make you disappear. Donald, do you have any books in your house? Oh, well, if you don't, that's okay. Go down to the library. Just read up on the history of this country. Now, look, America's a great place to be. But we have a terrible history, Americans. I'm pretty sure other countries do, but we don't live in that. We live in this one. And there's some tough stuff here. So, Donald, no, they were not trying to kill you. Foolishness. But I think this guy that sits around and dreams of stuff. I say, yeah, that sounds good. All this sensationalism. He just jumps out there and says it. And let's see how the people react. None of the people done reacted to you because they know you're a simp. That's why you endorse guys like Herschel Walker in Atlanta, Georgia, to be the senator. And he's wondering who's the strongest between the werewolf and the vampires. Actually, excuse me, and actually said that in front of people, crowds of people. And then have President Obama come back, who was campaigning for President Biden. Said, yeah, he's one of that too. When he was 7. That's right. When you're 7 years old, you think of everything bizarre. Because that's what kids do. We think all the time. But don't embrace guys like her because that's him. He sits around and thinks all kind of bizarre stuff and then says it. So, people, we have to try something new, something different. But one thing we must do is preserve this democracy. Because it's a sad day if Donald J. Trump get back in that office. He won't even recognize this country. He always wanted to be the one to jump out there. We got to save America. I mean, we got to do this, we got to do that. Well, you're not going to have a country. No, he's talking about himself. Good being with you here today. Appreciate it. Let's see you next time. All right, sir. Oh, Pastor.